foremost, I first met you back in 2002 in Las Vegas as you were going around spreading your comedy word. So, uh, how are you in comedy these days? I guess to begin with.
Oh, well, I haven't left it behind. It's still my first love, and it's still the gateway to everything I've been able to do since I became a stand-up comic. It's still my gateway drug. But I just got so busy about a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, that I decided to take kind of a conscious hiatus from stand-up.
Sure.
Because to have a robust stand-up career, you have to be getting on a plane every weekend and flying to another city. And I was doing so much. I was doing 3 shows at the time. I was running a podcast. I was writing a book. I was launching a spirits line, and it just was. Something had to give. So I decided not to stop doing stand-up, but just to put it to sleep for a little while. And that was a year and a half ago, I guess, that I decided to do it full time. And then I thought I would come back to it in 2016, and I would just take 2015 off and come back in 2016. And then I got even busier because I started working on Criminal Minds, and then I decided to direct a feature. So it's just sleeping right now. It's not dead. I definitely intend to get back to it, and I want to do another comedy special very much. But to really write and perfect the kind of substantial hour of material that you want to commit to film for a comedy special, you need to have that be your only focus for at least a year straight. So I just got to wait until I get another kind of, my calendar opens up a little bit to get back to it full time.
Well, I have to say, I've always I felt that you are the hardest woman in entertainment right now for sure. With the amount of shows, the amount of things you have your many fingers into, I guess. Let's actually focus on Archer, which the new season is great. We're watching it, and we love every minute of it. The private eye angle, what was your first thought on that?
I just trust Adam Reed, and so it made sense to me because, the work situation for the Archer group or team or whatever you want to call it has been constantly evolving. They were kind of outed as an outlying organization, and they were disavowed, and then they were brought back in, and so they've been kind of buffeted about, and I think it makes sense that they'd move into this space because it's a space in which they can control their own destiny a little bit more. They're fighting back in control of what they're doing. And I think, also Adam was looking for a change of scenery for them and just different situations, different topics, different conditions for them to operate under. I think it's great. It's been, in my mind, one of our funniest seasons so far, and we're only a few episodes in, and there's a brilliant arc to this season that I think people are really going to enjoy.
Well, definitely, because we essentially see the end of the season at the beginning of the season, so we're trying to figure out, we're trying to lead up to what happened, to where Key and Peele's character are essentially talking over what we see of Archer's body in the pool. So that's something we definitely are looking forward to finding out how this comes about. A question for you is Lana getting less intelligent by being around these people? Like, is she sucking in some of this from this group? Because it seems like she's kind of falling into this pit of whatever they're creating.
No, I don't think she's getting less intelligent. I think that she's always been kind of brilliant and yet self-defeating. And everybody has everybody always thinks they're the smartest friend in their group, but everybody always you can kind of find yourself surrounded by people who might not be rocket scientists but are highly entertaining. And in her particular case, they all have their own core competencies. They all have their specific skills, their specific set of skills that actually do add value. And I think in Lana's case, unfortunately for her, and however you would describe it or whatever form it takes, she loves Archer, and he definitely loves her. I mean, he's sacrificed his own life several times on her behalf, multiple times. So, she's bound to him, first by love and then now by a child. So, whether she'd like to hit the ejector button from this group, I don't think she can.
Before you knew of the next season, or how things were progressing after you had the baby, did you ever think that you would have to deal with voicing Lana with baby weight or dealing with that kind of issue? I was kind of wondering if that happened at the end of that season.
No. Lana is an international super spy and incredibly fit, and she only gained exactly the amount of weight needed to have that healthy baby. I never had to voice her with baby weight. Her abs were rock hard under that pregnancy.
This is true. Now, have you, you've gone to Comic-Con, things like this. Have you seen a good Lana impression out there, a good Lana cosplayer out there yet?
There's a lot of cosplay going on. And, I don't pay attention too closely to it, just because there's so much other stuff kind of floating past my screen. But there's been some pretty in-depth, Archer cosplay overall. And we had, I think 2 Comic-Cons ago, we kind of had a group of like the best cosplayers from that con come up, and we took pictures of them and did interviews with them. So we've had some pretty good ones. Oh,
very cool. Now the talk is that a kind of a base for you, because it's one of those regular things you have now? Like, is it kind of a restart to your day, or how does that work now that you have something that you show up to? It's almost, it's the regular job of the entertainment world kind of thing.
Oh, you mean like, is it my day job a little bit?
Yeah, because you're like, you know what, I have to go. Like, I can't just be like, let's just push this back. I can't do this project. I can't do this. This is something where it's like, we need to show up because we need another episode. Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, the talk is live every day, with the exception of Friday. So yeah, I gotta get there at the, on time, or I'm not on television. For me, it's such a fun and easy show to do. The dynamic there is so just collegial and easygoing. So it's probably the easiest part of my day. And I don't mean to be glib. It's not like we're sleepwalking through it, but it's just, we all get along so beautifully, and it's such a, you just get to show up and kind of be yourself. So yeah, it's and it goes, we shoot, we have an 11-month schedule. We go September to July. So, it definitely is, the baseline of the rest of my schedule. But, this last season I was on Criminal Minds. So I was at the talk every morning until lunchtime, and then I was at, Criminal Minds until, 8 or sometimes 2 in the morning. So, so they both felt, like the anchor to my day, and in that I couldn't move them, and there wasn't anything I could slide in between.
Right. So it's coffee, violence, murder, mayhem, coffee. And
there you go. And then a gentle chat at the table with friends.
Now, can I ask? Do you know if you're going to be part of the next season of BoJack Horseman already?
No. I'm not contracted on that show. So I'm not a series regular on that show, and
I got you.
I love it, and I think they're amazing, and it's an extraordinary group of people, an extraordinary show, but I have so much stuff going on, many other obligations, that it's very hard for me to add one more show. You know what I mean? It would be very difficult for me to do anything else right now. I barely have time to breathe.
Well, speaking of which, you were just in Newport for your short, correct?
I was. It was the world premiere of my short film.
How did it go?
It was awesome. It was really, really great. It was the first time I'd ever been to a festival with something that I made, versus something that I was in. So that was thrilling. It's also very nerve-wracking to watch your work on the big screen in a room full of strangers, but it went sensationally. It was a really, really good time.
And that, of course, leads up to Axis, which I believe we have until May 5th to kick in every dollar, every all the card change we have to your Kickstarter. Right?
Yes. All your cushion change, if you can, to your sofa. Yeah, I mean, it's going well. We're 93% funded now,
right.
So we're getting close to our funding goal. We're very close, which is exciting, and we're hoping we'll hit it far in advance of next Thursday so that we can maybe move into some stretch goals. But it's been going great, and for me, this has been really exciting, not just to articulate the vision for this film, but to bring along a lot of people that already were supporting me or connected to me through my other shows or through my podcast, who have heard me talk about wanting to be a film director for years now on my show, and how much I love movies, how passionate I am about them. So for them, and they've been hearing me talk about, I just did another short film, I'm going to Ireland to direct a short. For them to hear now, okay, she's doing a feature and we can be a part of that, has been a really cool way to connect even more closely with my fan base. And for a lot of people who are never, physically going to be a part of making a movie, to bring them along on the experience of putting a film together and creating a film. So it's been super cool so far.
Now, with the fact that you're so busy, I believe you only have like 1 week of time to actually do this when it comes about. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kickstarted. That's one of the reasons why I kickstarted the movie. I mean, there were two main reasons why I decided to do a Kickstarter rather than trying to find more traditional forms of funding. The one reason is because with studios, you give them a script and then, they've got to have like 80 people read it and they focus group it and their assistant has to check it out and make sure his girlfriend likes it. And then they finally get back to you, 18 months later with a slew of changes and then that influence, that kind of conventional studio influence it's why we keep seeing the same movies being made over and over in Hollywood, because, there's this sameness of attitude and approach and kind of creative independence. It's very hard for creative independence to survive in that system. So I really wanted to make a movie that was true to my own vision and felt new and interesting and different than what's been being made, in the conventional Hollywood system. And then the second reason was that I literally have a week off this year. And if I don't make a movie in that week, I don't make a movie until sometime in 2017. And so right. Kickstarter was a great way to say, well, look, we're going to put this out there for crowdfunding and we'll know right away whether we're going to be able to make this movie or not. Well, the people will tell us, hey, we want to see this movie or no, we don't. We had a lot of success in the first week. And so we felt pretty confident we'd hit our funding goal. And that meant I knew, okay, I can go on May 27th. I don't have to wait for one more executive to sign off on this or for them to talk to their business affairs department. We know based on crowd response and fan support that we're going to be making a movie at the end of May. And so that was, that was really gratifying, but it was also the only way I was going to be able to do it this year with my crazy schedule.
So this is your vacation, essentially.
Yeah, this is my holiday for 2016 is working 18-hour days.
Did you get into, like, as a director now, did you get into any of the technical stuff? Did you want to learn some of the things about, the camera systems or any of those?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to be a filmmaker for, I would say a decade at least. And so a lot of my time when I'm on set has been spent sitting with the director or whatever I'm working on, asking questions, shadowing them. I've traveled all over the world to shadow on other projects that I wasn't on, The Wire, Vikings, 24, and films I was working on like Death Sentence. And I really spent a lot of time studying the work of those directors, talking to their DPs. And then, this is going to be my first feature, but I've made 6 short films. So I've been studying the art form for a long time, and it hasn't just been a casual, like, hey, it'd be cool if I put some of my friends in a movie kind of thing. It's been a much more methodical, technical approach to moving into the director's chair.
The one thing I've actually interviewed before on is I'm also a video game critic. So I've talked to you before about Ubisoft and video games. How is that work progressing for you right now? Is there anything going on, or is that also on hiatus?
You mean my work with Ubi or just my general gaming life?
Your general gaming life. Let's go with that.
Oh, my general gaming life is sad and meager and very anemic, and it's pathetic. It's really, really sad. I have so many unopened games sitting in my media center, and I'm on a game that I started like a year and a half ago, which is just humiliating. But I'm one of those people, like, if I start a game and I like it, I have to finish it. I can't just kind of move on. So right. I'm still in the wee last stages of The Last of Us, which is really pathetic. But right. I used to have, when I was just doing like one TV show or 2 TV shows, I'd have my weekends free. You know what I mean? I'd come home on a Friday afternoon and I just game until midnight, sleep in and then game all weekend. I just don't have the time that I used to have, and it's been really heartbreaking, honestly. So, because I also am not the kind of person who can sit down and like play for 45 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Like if I pick up a console, like the sun is coming up. So, it's been really, really, really painful. And I'm looking forward to, I'm hoping maybe Christmas that I can just kind of lock myself inside in the house with like the blinds drawn and just play like every game that has been like gathering dust and whatever new cool shit is coming out this year. But it's been heartbreaking actually how little I've been able to game and how many conversations I've been like, people are talking about what they're playing and I'm just so sad that I haven't been able to play it.
As a gamer and someone in entertainment too, how do you feel about the transposition of video games straight to movies? I mean, we have, of course, Ubisoft coming out with a pretty great movie with Michael Fassbender. So I kind of want to see, like, do you have a feeling on that too? I mean, do you enjoy those kind of films?
It's interesting. Like I know the AC franchise well, but I'm not like an obsessive AC player. For some reason, that makes perfect sense to me because each of those games feels very filmic. It has kind of, you know, at least from a campaign perspective, it has a very filmic storyline. There's a beginning and an end, and I feel like they could do a new iteration of AC in a movie that wasn't a story you'd ever played. Do you know what I mean? And it would feel fresh. It would feel kind of like a companion to the franchise. So that makes perfect sense to me. And I'd watch Michael Fassbender eat a bowl of cereal, so I'm down for that. You know, obviously there's the Warcraft movie coming out. I've never been a Warcraft person. I really love Travis Fimmel. He's a friend, and you know, and like I said, I shouted on Vikings, so I'm excited for him. I'm going to reserve judgment on how that movie's turned out. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, cool thing about Warcraft is go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
I was going to say one cool thing about Warcraft is it's so sprawling that every person's experience is different. So maybe this movie will kind of, I don't know, maybe be able to kind of crystallize like a lot of people's experiences one narrative. But for some reason, Warcraft to me doesn't seem to lend itself to a movie the way that like AC might, or even The Last of Us, because The Last of Us was such a filmic game anyway. It felt so filmic and so immersive that you can see how cool it would be to make a movie version of it. I remember playing it and being like, God, this is like a movie. This is like a movie. It was the most filmic of any game. The two games I played that were most like a movie were The Last of Us and Gears of War, especially Gears of War 3. I thought that played all the way through just like a movie, and I loved that about it because it was like you were in it and you really felt like the robustness of the storytelling in that game. But anyway, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was going to say I'm just waiting for another Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's been a while. I want John Leguizamo to work whenever he can, and I miss Bob Hoskins more than some family members. I mean, I love that guy. But you also are still doing Girl on Guy, right?
I am, but I had to reduce the number of episodes I did a year from. I was doing 5 episodes a month and I had to reduce it to 1, and that was purely a function of the fact that I'm so busy that I don't even have the time to sit down and do the interviews anymore. You know, I just don't. I'm just so, and it was really heartbreaking. I was actually going to put it on hiatus indefinitely, but then I love it so much. I remember I was sitting and I was interviewing, I think, Robert Patrick or Joe Mantegna, and I just thought, crap, I can't give this show up. I love it too much. So I just went down to one episode a month just so I could keep doing it, you know.
Between The Talk or Girl on Guy, is there anyone you wouldn't ever interview?
Donald Trump.
Well, there you go.
Easy answer.
That's an easy answer. That's the bullet in the gun already. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time because apparently there's probably 18 other people who need you right now. But I did want to tell you that we love Lana. We love Archer. FX is just a perfect home for it, and we think that the show is going to be on for many years. We hope that the one thing that the show has is it progresses in time and people get older. So I want one point 10 years down the road where you have a teenager and you and Archer have to deal with that. That's my goal. That's
horrifying. That's horrifying.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, Aisha. I want to tell you.